Well, hello, friends and neighbors again from around the world. Sid High here again with another sermon from the Church of High Thoughts on the Commonalities, and this time on how they relate to Buddhism. So, again, just to recap on all of these, this is more for a reference point. I got a lot of this from reading the books, but I also just ran some questions by AI and got a lot of this information. So I hope that you find it all to be correct. It seems to relate to the books that I've read and what little I know, because I am certainly not an expert on any of these, although I did grow up the Christian fundamentalist, if you will, back in the day. But mainly, I just want to show how all these different religions, and really any religion, I can't think of anyone that doesn't. I mean, I'm sure there's some radical folks out there doing weird stuff. But if you get down to legitimate philosophical, moral religions, they all contain the commonalities, and these videos are to demonstrate and document how they relate to the commonalities, because it just doesn't seem like that's been done. So I guess without further ado, let's jump into Buddhism. So Buddhism started approximately 500 BCE. Buddhism is a spiritual and philosophical tradition, has many positive aspects that attract followers worldwide. Here are some of the notable ones. Compassion and kindness. Right off the bat, Buddhism places a strong emphasis on compassion and kindness towards all living beings. The principle of metta, loving kindness, we'll come back to that too, encourages followers to cultivate goodwill and empathy. Mindfulness and meditation. Buddhism promotes mindfulness and meditation practices to achieve mental clarity, inner peace, and self-awareness. These practices help individuals live in the present moment and reduce stress and anxiety. Non-attachment and letting go. The concept of non-attachment encourages individuals to let go of material and emotional attachments that cause suffering. This leads to a sense of inner freedom and contentment. Ethical living. Buddhism provides a moral framework known as the 5 precepts, which guide followers in ethical behavior, including not harming others, being honest, and living a life of integrity. Yeah, those all sound good. Personal growth and enlightenment. Buddhism encourages individuals to embark on a personal journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth. The ultimate goal is to achieve enlightenment, nirvana, a state of profound wisdom and liberation from suffering. Also a great band. Complicity and contentment. Buddhism promotes a simple and contented lifestyle free from excess, desires, and consumerism. This philosophy encourages a focus on inner fulfillment rather than external possessions. Okay. Harmony with nature. Buddhism teaches respect for the environment and all living beings. The principle of ahimsa, nonviolence, extends to the natural world, promoting ecological awareness and sustainability. Diverse practices and adaptability. Buddhism is a diverse tradition with various schools and practices. This diversity allows individuals to find a path that resonates with their personal beliefs and needs. I find that to just be a very powerful paragraph right there. Okay, going on. Inner peace and equanimity. Buddhism offers tools for achieving inner peace and equanimity, helping individuals to remain calm and balanced in the face of life's challenges and uncertainty. Boy, we need some of that right now. All right, first up on the commonalities, of course, is love and compassion. Metta. We're going to use that term later in word hijacking, but for the moment, let's stick with this video. Love and kindness. Metta is the practice of unconditional love and kindness towards all beings. It involves generating feelings of goodwill and benevolence, wishing for the happiness and well-being of oneself and others. Karuna, compassion. Compassion is the desire to alleviate the suffering of others. It's about emphasizing with others' pain, with others' pain and taking actions to help ease their suffering. Karuna is considered one of the four immeasurables, along with metta, teachings of the Buddha. The Buddha taught that practicing love and compassion leads to the reduction of suffering and attainment of nirvana. The Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path emphasize the importance of ethical conduct, mindfulness, and wisdom, all of which are rooted in love and compassion. All right, helping the poor. In Buddhism, helping the poor and practicing generosity, dana, are fundamental aspects of the path to spiritual development and enlightenment. Compassion and altruism are core tenets of the Buddhist teachings, and helping those in need is seen as an expression of these values. Key principles related to helping the poor in Buddhism include compassion, karuna. One of the four immeasurable compassions involves recognizing and alleviating the suffering of others. Helping the poor is a direct way to practice compassion. Generosity, dana. Generosity is one of the 10 perfections, and is considered a foundational virtue of Buddhism. Acts of giving, especially to those in need, help to cultivate a selfless and compassionate mindset. All right, I can see the attachment here to Hinduism. Interconnectedness. I won't even try and pronounce the word they have for interconnectedness. The concept of dependent origination emphasizes the interconnectedness of all beings. By helping the poor, Buddhists acknowledge and act on the understanding that everyone's well-being is interconnected. Right livelihood. One of the steps on the Noble Eightfold Path, right livelihood, involves making a living in a way that does not harm others and contributes positively to society, which includes helping those who are less fortunate. Bodhisattva ideals, and I hope I'm saying that right. I always think of the Steely Dan song. In Mahayana Buddhism, the Bodhisattva is someone who seeks enlightenment not only for themselves, but for all sentient beings. Helping the poor is a key aspect of the Bodhisattva's compassionate mission. Buddhist scriptures and teaching provide numerous examples of the importance of helping the poor. Jataka tales. These stories, which recount the previous lives of the Buddha, often highlight acts of generosity and compassion towards the poor and needy. Sutta Pitaka. Various discourses in the Pali Canon emphasize the value of generosity and compassionate actions. Actions, again, very important. I'll harp on that a lot. Another name, I probably will have difficulty with this, Dhammapada. This collection of saying of the Buddhas include verses that encourage kindness, compassion, and selflessness. Overall, helping the poor is seen as a vital practice in Buddhism, reflecting the core values of compassion, generosity, and interconnectedness. All right, next up, forgiveness. In Buddhism, forgiveness is seen as an essential practice for cultivating inner peace, compassion, and spiritual growth. It is closely tied to the principles of non-attachment and loving kindness, metta. Holding on to anger or resentment is viewed as harmful, as it disrupts the mind's natural state of balance and leads to suffering. Key teachings on forgiveness in Buddhism include letting go of grudges. Forgiveness is not about condoning harmful acts, but about releasing the emotional burdens they create. Letting go of anger allows one to move forward with clarity and peace. Karma and compassion. Understanding that everyone acts from their own ignorance or pain fosters compassion for others. Forgiveness becomes a way to break the cycle of negative karma and promote harmony. Metta meditation. A common Buddhist practice involves generating feelings of loving kindness towards oneself, loved ones, strangers, and even those who have caused harm. This meditation helps dissolve anger and resentment. Self-forgiveness. Buddhism also emphasizes the importance of forgiving oneself for past mistakes. Accepting and learning from errors is seen as a step toward personal growth and enlightenment. As the Buddha said, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. This encapsulates the idea that forgiveness is ultimately a gift to oneself. All right. Next up, promoting peace and reconciliation. Buddhism places a profound emphasis on peace and reconciliation. Rooted in its core teachings and practices, here are some key principles. Ahimsa, nonviolence. Like other traditions, Buddhism emphasizes ahimsa, the principle of non-harming. Practicing nonviolence through thoughts, words, and actions is fundamental to fostering peace within oneself and others. The Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. The Buddha's teachings guide individuals towards the cessation of suffering through the Eightfold Path. Right speech, right action, and the right livelihood specifically promote ethical behavior, harmonious relationships, and reconciliation. Metta, loving kindness. The practice of metta involves cultivating unconditional love and goodwill towards all beings. This meditation practice helps dissolve anger, resentment, and barriers between individuals, promoting reconciliation and mutual understanding. Forgiveness and letting go. Buddhism encourages individuals to let go of anger, hatred, and attachment to grievances. Forgiveness is seen as a way to release one's own suffering and open the door to peace. Interconnectedness and compassion. Recognizing the interdependence of all beings fosters a sense of shared humanity. Compassionate actions and understanding help heal divisions and encourage reconciliation. All of a sudden I can't say it. The Bodhisattva. I probably won't edit that out. I'm tired. The Bodhisattva ideal. Bodhisattvas being dedicated to the enlightenment of all, embodying selflessness and compassion, they inspire others to work towards peace and reconciliation on a broader scale. Buddhism's approach to peace begins with inner transformation and extends outward to create harmony in the world. All right. These by no means are perfect. The recordings, that's what I'm talking about. I don't know about the religions. You make your own thoughts on that. All right, next up, humility and service to others. In Buddhism, humility and service to others are central to cultivating compassion, wisdom, and spiritual growth. These virtues align with the fundamental teachings of the Buddha and are integral to living an ethical and harmonious life. Humility. Humility in Buddhism is closely tied to the principles of anatta, no self, which teaches that the sense of ego or self is an illusion. True humility arises from recognizing this truth and understanding one's interconnectedness with all beings. It involves letting go of pride, arrogance, and attachment to self-centeredness, paving the way for compassion and empathy. Service to others. Dana and Karuna. Service to others is expressed through dana, generosity, and karuna, compassion. Dana involves giving selflessly, whether it's material support, time, or kindness, without expecting anything in return. Karuna is the active expression of compassion, helping alleviate the suffering of others with a genuine and open heart. The Bodhisattva ideal. In Mahayana Buddhism, the Bodhisattva is an enlightened being who vows to serve others and delay their own liberation until all beings are freed from suffering. This ideal represents the ultimate humility and selfless dedication to the welfare of others. Right action. As part of the Eightfold Path, right action encourages ethical behavior that respects others and promotes harmony. Acts of humility and service align with this principle by creating positive karma and fostering interpersonal peace. Meditation practices. Buddhist meditation practices, like loving kindness meditation, nurture humility and a sincere wish for happiness and well-being of others, encouraging selfless attitudes and actions. Humility and service are seen as essential for breaking the cycle of suffering and contributing to the well-being of all beings. It sure couldn't hurt. All right, next up, mercy. In Buddhism, mercy is intrinsically tied to the concepts of compassion and loving kindness. These virtues are central to Buddhist practice and guide individuals towards reducing suffering and fostering harmony in the world. Here's how mercy is understood in Buddhism. Compassion. Mercy is expressed through karuna, the heartfelt desire to alleviate the suffering of others. It is one of the four immeasurables, or sublime states of mind that Buddhists strive to cultivate. Loving kindness, metta. Mercy also aligns with metta, the boundless wish for all beings to be happy and free from suffering. Through loving kindness meditation, Buddhists develop a merciful mindset towards themselves, loved ones, strangers, and even those with whom they have conflict. Ahimsa, nonviolence. Mercy is reflected in the principle of ahimsa, which encourages Buddhists to avoid harm to all living beings. This extends to thoughts, words, and actions embodying mercy in daily life. The Bodhisattva ideal. The Bodhisattva is an enlightened being who vows to help all sentient beings achieve liberation before seeking their own. Wow. This represents the ultimate act of mercy, as the Bodhisattva devotes themselves entirely to the welfare of others. Forgiveness and patience. Mercy includes forgiving others and responding to harm with patience and understanding. Buddhism teaches that clinging to anger only perpetuates suffering, and mercy helps break this cycle. Buddhist teachings encourage individuals to extend mercy unconditionally, transcending personal biases and fostering compassion for all beings. All right, next up, justice and fairness. In Buddhism, justice and fairness are not framed in terms of rigid rules or punitive systems, but are deeply rooted in the principles of karma, compassion, and ethical conduct. These values guide individuals toward creating a harmonious and just society. Karma and justice. The law of karma underscores that actions have consequences. Fairness in this context means that individuals are accountable for their deeds and the effects of their actions, whether positive or negative, naturally manifest over time. Justice is inherent in this cosmic cause and effect framework. Compassion over retribution. Buddhist teachings emphasize compassion as a guiding force for justice. Instead of seeking retribution or punishment, fairness is about understanding the root causes of suffering and addressing them with wisdom and kindness. Boy, that's an important one there, and action on that is very important. understanding the root cause. Yeah. All right. Right conduct. Sela. Hope I said that right. Part of the Noble Eightfold Path, Sela refers to ethical conduct, which includes principles like nonviolence, honesty, and respect for others. Justice and fairness emerge when individuals uphold these moral values in their daily interactions. Equanimity. Equanimity, one of the four immeasurables, encourages impartiality and fairness. It teaches individuals to treat all beings with equal consideration, avoiding favoritism or bias. Justice and leadership. Buddhist texts such as the Dasa Raja Dharma, 10 Duties of a King, provide guidance for rulers and leaders to govern with fairness, compassion, and wisdom. These principles aim to create a just society where all individuals can thrive. Buddhism's approach to justice and fairness focuses on addressing suffering at its core, promoting ethical behavior and fostering harmony within oneself and the wider community. All right, respect and kindness. Buddhism places great emphasis on respect and kindness, viewing them as essential to living a virtuous and harmonious life. These values are rooted in the teachings of the Buddha and the principles of the Dharma, the Buddhist teachings. Some key Buddhist concepts that emphasize respect and kindness include metta, loving kindness. This is the unconditional and universal love for all beings. Practicing metta involves cultivating goodwill, compassion, and care for oneself and others. It's a way to overcome anger, hatred, and resentment. Karuna, compassion. Compassion is central to Buddhist practice and involves actively working to alleviate the suffering of others. It reflects an emphatic and respectful, not emphatic, maybe emphatic about being empathetic, and respectful connections to the struggles of all living beings. Ahimsa, non-harm. Rooted in the principle of nonviolence, ahimsa encourages people to respect all forms of life and refrain from causing harm through thoughts, words, or actions. The 5 precepts. These are ethical guidelines that Buddhists follow, including principles like refraining from harming living beings, a respect for life, and abstaining from false speech, respect for truth and others. Boy, we got to come back to that. In addition, the Eightfold Path, a fundamental framework in Buddhism, includes aspects such as right speech, right action, and right livelihood, all of which promote ethical conduct rooted in kindness and respect. Buddhist teachings often highlight the interconnectedness of all beings, fostering a sense of mutual respect and responsibility. Kindness and respect are seen not as obligations, but as a natural expression of a compassionate and awakened mind. All right, gratitude. Buddhism emphasizes gratitude as a key aspect of a mindful and compassionate life. It's not just seen as a virtue, but as an essential practice for spiritual growth and inner peace. Here's how gratitude is understood within Buddhist teachings. Gratitude for teachers and teaching. Boy, I like that one right off the bat. Buddhists often express profound gratitude to the Buddha, Dharma, teachings, and Sangha, community. This is reflected in rituals, prayers, and acts of reverence towards those who guide them on the path to enlightenment. Acknowledging interdependence. Central to Buddhist philosophy is the idea of interdependence, that all beings and phenomena are connected. Gratitude arises from recognizing the countless individuals and conditions that contribute to one's existence, happiness, and growth. Cultivating mindfulness and joy. Practices like meditation and mindfulness encourage noticing and appreciating the present moment. I like that one. Gratitude is a natural result of being fully aware of the simple yet profound gifts of life, such as a breath, a meal, or a supportive relationship. Loving kindness and compassion. Gratitude is intertwined with metta, the practice of loving kindness. Being grateful for others fosters empathy and strengthens the bond of compassion. Transforming suffering. Buddhist teachings encourage finding gratitude even in challenges, as they offer opportunities for growth, patience, and understanding. This perspective helps reduce attachment and cultivate equanimity. In essence, gratitude in Buddhism is a way to nurture humility, cultivate joy, and deepens one's connections with all beings. It's about seeing life as a gift and cherishing the interconnected web that sustains us. Yes. All right, next up, charity and generosity. In Buddhism, charity, dana, and generosity are regarded as foundational virtues and crucial steps on the path to spiritual development. These acts embody compassion and selflessness, helping individuals cultivate positive karma and move closer to enlightenment. Here's how Buddhism views and practices charity and generosity. Dana, the practice of giving. Dana means giving and is the first of the 10 perfections that guide a Buddhist path. It is considered a way to reduce attachment and develop a generous heart. Giving can take many forms: offering material goods, providing time and support, sharing knowledge, or simply giving kindness and compassion. The 3 types of gifts. The Buddha categorized giving into 3 types. The gift of material goods, such as food, clothing, or shelter. The gift of safety, by protecting others from harm or danger. The gift of dharma, which involves sharing spiritual teachings and wisdom. Selfless motivation. True generosity in Buddhism requires pure intention. Acts of charity should be performed without expectation of reward, recognition, or reciprocation. Compassion and interconnectedness. Charity reflects the Buddhist understanding of interdependence, that all beings are connected. Helping others is not only an act of kindness, but also a way of honoring this interconnectedness. Monistic and lay practices. Lay Buddhists often support monistic thought, offerings of food and necessities, which is seen as an act of merit. Monastics in turn dedicate their lives to sharing the Dharma, creating a reciprocal relationship of generosity, karma, and spiritual growth. Acts of charity generate good karma, fostering future happiness and spiritual progress. They also help reduce ego and attachment to material possessions, which are obstacles on the path to liberation. Joy in giving. Buddhism teaches that generosity benefits not only the recipient, but also the giver, as it creates joy, contentment, and inner peace. In essence, charity and generosity in Buddhism are more than acts of kindness. They are profound spiritual practices that transform both the giver and the world around them. All right, next up is truthfulness. Yes. In Buddhism, truthfulness, sekha, is considered one of the fundamental virtues and is essential for ethical and spiritual development. It is emphasized in both thought and practice as a way to cultivate integrity, clarity, and harmony. Here are some key aspects of truthfulness in Buddhism. The 4 precepts. Truthfulness is embodied in the 4th of the 5 precepts, which are ethical guidelines for lay practitioners. This precept advises against false speech, encouraging honesty in communication and avoiding lies, gossip, and deceit. Right speech. As part of the Noble Eightfold Path, right speech, samavaka, highlights the importance of speaking truthfully, kindly, and constructively. It involves avoiding harmful words, falsehoods, or divisive speech. Truth in thought, words, and deeds. Truthfulness is not limited to speech, but extends to thoughts and actions. Practicing honesty requires mindfulness and aligns one's intentions, words, and behavior with sincerity and integrity. Truthfulness as a path to liberation. Truth is seen as crucial for spiritual awakening. The Buddha's teachings, referred to as the Dharma, are often called the ultimate truth that leads to liberation from suffering. Compassionate truth. Buddhism emphasizes balancing truthfulness with compassion. Speaking the truth should not cause unnecessary harm. It should be done with kindness and sensitivity. Self-honesty. Practicing truthfulness involves self-honesty, which is essential for self-awareness and growth. By being truthful with oneself, one can confront delusions and align more closely with reality. In essence, truthfulness in Buddhism is about much more than avoiding lies. It's about living authentically and harmoniously with mindfulness and care for the well-being of all beings. Wow, we could use a lot more of that now, no matter what your religion is on that. So, if you made it through this again, like I said before, you deserve a medal or something. And I really appreciate anybody that stuck through with it. Again, these are more for reference. I say a gazillion times. I know I've messed up a lot in these. So please don't play a drinking game where you take a shot every time I mess up, because you'll get alcohol poisoning, I'm sure. But maybe it also will be entertaining to see me mess up and trying to pronounce these words. But again, because repeating things is important, the object here is to point out how these different religions relate to the commonalities. There's that in all religions, and it needs to be focused on more if we're going to get out of a lot of the messes that we're in. Granted, there's a lot more to life than this, and I'm not saying I have any answers, but one thing's for sure from doing all of these videos and the studying that I have, all of these religions have these in common, and they wouldn't be in all of these religions if there wasn't something to them or important, as far as I can see. And the differences that these other religions have, or these religions, they drive people apart and they cause fractions and all these other things. And I realize to some extent they're unavoidable, but even with the fracturing and the different denominations of religions, or even not having a religion, the thing is, the commonalities will help us to lead a better life, and hopefully we can start working together as humanity. That's the biggest key. We're not going to get past a bunch of these problems that are going on in the world today if we don't start working together. And that means electing leaders that are truthful, that follow the commonalities, and actually start addressing real problems and quit making stuff up. the truthfulness part on this one just really got to me, because it is just such an important thing. And I will have to say it again here, as I've also repeated, but propaganda is basically destroying the world. I don't think I've ever phrased it quite that way. I've called it sinister propaganda, but gosh, we've got some real work to do. And first of all, we have to come together as a community, or as I like to call us, the commoners, embrace the commonalities, and let's get busy, because another phrase I came up with, prayer without action is just wishful thinking. You have to act on these things, okay? It's very important that this happens. So, again, I'm tired. I'm trying to get through all of these so we can get on to more important things. Well, they're all important. I shouldn't have said it that way. But thanks again. If you did watch the whole thing, if you want to donate in the name of the Church of High Thoughts or the Commonalities, and then put it in the comments section, that'd be great to know that it's kind of getting out there. And with that, I wish you a good day, and I will have another video for you tomorrow. Thanks again.